Happy Wednesday, everyone. We got some fun stuff coming your way. We have actually a happy belated birthday to Mr. Mike Cousin, so we're gonna have some fun with this one. It's gonna be a longer workout, but it's gonna be a lot of fun because each chunk is kind of spaced out into its own separate little work set. Before we get to that, let's talk about our work set to warm ourselves up. Plank lean for 2 to down dog toe touch for 3 to 5. So a little bit of hybrid movement, some flow in there, get the body moving around. Into our floor facing angel with extension for 5. Humeral glide to knee push up for 3 to 5. And hit that little triplet for 2 rounds. So just keeping it nice and short, focusing on that upper body. After that, you're gonna move into a sumo squat for 3 at a 3-1-3. Dynamic triangle for 5 aside. And a dumbbell goblet squat for 5 to 10 reps at a 3-second negative. So nice, normal, kind of stand tall, but 3-second negative. 2 rounds of that as well, keeping that tight little triplet in there, working on the legs a little bit, and then we're gonna move forward to work on some dumbbells for 2 to 3 rounds to get you finalized, comfortable with what's gonna happen, and then ready for work. We have our dumbbell deadlift for 3, dumbbell hang power clean for 2, and a dumbbell pause front squat for 1 at a 3-second hold at the bottom. Finishing off with a little run or cardio of your choice. So we're looking for 100 meters to 200 meters or about a 30-second to a minute effort of that cardio piece of choice. I'll have some options at the bottom of the workout description to give you that kind of flow to make it yours, but we're gonna take that down, get yourself ready, and then move into this. So with the workout, how this is gonna go, you're gonna set a running clock timer or 10-minute interval timer, depending on what you got going on your watch, on your clock, your stopwatch, that's easier for you. From 0 to 10 minutes, you are going to run 1,200 or 800 meters, or the equivalent that you choose for your cardio piece. When you finish your run, you're gonna come back in, and you're gonna do max rounds of 5 pullovers, 10 push-ups, and 15 squats. So we're gonna take that down nice and steady, and then once that clock reaches that 10-minute time frame, you're gonna head back out the door or hit your cardio piece of choice again for 1,200 to 800 meters, or the equivalent of. When you come back from that run, you're gonna do max rep power cleans until the time is done. Once you're done that, you're gonna come down that last 10-minute chunk. You're gonna do a lovely 1,200 meter to 800 meter run. Then you're gonna finish off with max rep burpees. Oh, yes, sweetness to close out the workout. So you just kind of finish off strong with that good set of burpees and have some fun with it and empty the tank. Happy belated birthday, Mr. Mike Cousin. Looking forward to seeing how you guys take this down. But first things first, let's warm you up, get you ready to go. All right, guys, let's get you guys warmed up. Put those feet under those hips, take the arms big and tall. Big reach to one side, nice little side bend. We'll continue over with a little side bend. Come back up into a nice T position and turn it in, turn it out, turn it in, turn it out, turn it in, and out. Big stretch, little shrug. We'll come back down with the shoulders. We're gonna forward fold, touch those toes. We're gonna walk up the shins. We're gonna come down, plant both hands. We're gonna step back into our plank. We're gonna get set here, tucking and pressing into our down dog. Set those shoulders. Then we'll come through into our lizard. And in this lizard lunge, let's take that inside hand up. We're gonna bend at the 90. We're gonna reach straight ahead. Pull back, reach straight ahead, pull back, and straight ahead, pull back, reach up. We'll take it all the way down the floor. We're gonna step back into our down dog, reaching those hips. Come back into our plank. We'll step the foot up, taking that inside hand all the way to the sky. Bend at the elbow. We're gonna reach, pull back, reach, pull back, reach, pull back, reach up, plant the hand, step back into our down dog, reaching for those hips, walk those heels back and forth, nice and easy, and then from here, extend into that plank. We'll tiptoe those feet up, we're gonna roll ourselves up all the way, big tall stretch. Get a little reach, come back to center, pull those hands down, and let's get you guys warmed up and ready for action. If you'd like to continue with some gentle warm-up, please pause the video, keep it going, Give yourself a little bit upper body love, some scap push-ups, cat-cows, thread the needles, anything you need. But I'm going to move you through that first triplet, which is going to start with some planks and some down dogs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to face the front for the first rep so you guys can see the lean. I'm going to set up in my plank. I'm going to pull my ribs and hips together, press through the shoulders. And I'm going to lean to the left as I initiate through the upper body. Then I'm going to pull through and lean to the right. I'm going to come back to center and pull back into our down dog. Setting my shoulders, I'm going to touch a toe. And then set the shoulder, touch a toe, set, and then pull back into our plank position. So with this, again, it's getting into a good flow and really focusing on setting the shoulders in between each of these movements, especially the single arm toe touch as we reach from side to side. So make sure you're stable, make sure you're strong there, and we're good to go. I'm going to turn to the side so you guys can see that down dog toe touch from the side. So again, I pull my ribs and hips together, press through the shoulder, lean, and lean, come back to center, extend up into my down dog, set the shoulders, touch a toe, come back into our plank, and then I continue on with that next phase. And or if I need to take a moment, I can take a moment. After that, I'm going to lower down to the floor to my floor-facing angel. So I'm going to get myself kind of in the bottom of my push-up position, so hands beside the chest, elbows stacked over top of the wrist. I'm going to give myself a humeral glide to set my shoulders up into that position, so I pull them back. I'm going to squeeze my glutes, pull my ribs and hips in, then I'm going to pull my shoulders together, lifting my hands off the floor, and then I'm going to press my hands back. Then I'm going to pull them back in and lower and relax for a second. So again, it's okay to relax in between these reps as long as we are re-engaging throughout the process. If you can maintain the tension, you can do all these reps in a row if you like, but as we regain our tension, we get our toes, we squeeze our glutes and our ribs, we squeeze our shoulders together, lifting the hands, and then I press my hands back, pull back in, lower, and then get ready for my next rep. So in that sequence, we want to make sure that we're giving ourselves a little bit of a pause at extension, a little bit of a pause here at the rib, and then come back down. All right, show control, move well, and take your time with these. Slower the better. After that, we have our humeral glide to knee push-up to prime up for our push-ups in this workout. So from here, I get my hands again in my chest. I'm going to pull my shoulders forward. I'm going to pull my shoulders back, keep my elbows stacked over top of my wrists. I'm going to pull my ribs and hips together, press into my plank, my knee plank, and then you're going to lower down, either a 3-second lower or a normal pace lower, making sure I end up in that same finishing and starting position. And so I pull the shoulders forward, pull the shoulders back, tuck my ribs and hips, press, and then again take that slow lower down, taking my time in those reps to make sure that I'm coming forward and down and setting up that good tripod. Quick recap of that work set: plank lean for 2, into our down dog with toe touch, 3 to 5 reps in total, floor facing angel with extension for 5 reps, humeral glide to knee push up for 3 to 5, taking our time, working slowly, heating up those shoulders because we got a little bit of shoulder work to do in this work set. 2 rounds of work there. Pause the video, take it down, and now we're going to focus our attention to our lower half. So we're going to start off with our sumo stance. So if this is my regular squat stance, my sumo is going to be somewhere outside of that, allowing my knees to stay tracking the toes. So I'm going to squeeze the top, get tight, and take my hips to my heels. So I'm not going to push too far back, but I'm going to push back a bit as I lower down, pushing my knees out, keeping that tall body, flat feet, and then a good stand up nice and tall. So again, tight glutes, hips to heels, knees go out, chest stays upright. Keep pushing those knees in as we go, and then we stand nice and tall. Right? There's a tempo to this, a 3-1-3, just to take your time and feel all that hip opening, all that good positioning, just to make sure we're staying midfoot. From there, from our sumo stance, we can move right into our dynamic triangle. So I just turn my toes, one directly to the side, one on the angle. I get my hand on my thigh, hand up to the sky. I'm going to pull my hips back as I find that nice slow trace down to my toe or as far as I can go, and then I pull back up. Making sure that I initiate originally from the hip, and then I let that hip keep going back to the heel as I lower down my shin, and then slowly rise back up. Taking my time with these, slower the better again with this movement, especially if you want to load it. Really pay attention to your range of motion, initiating through the hip and pressing up through that arm. Loaded or unloaded, we want to keep that arm super straight to the sky. Our last exercise in this work set is our goblet squat. In terms of our goblet squat, we have as a rep scheme of 5 to 10 at a 0-0-3 kind of tempo. So we're going to take it down slow and stand normal. So I hold the dumbbell under my chin. I'm going to push my knees out a little bit so they track the toes. But I'm going to try and keep those hips tracking towards my heels as I take it down, keeping the chest up tall, and then stand. So nice and steady, 3, 2, 1, no pause, and then just stand tall. If you want to add a pause in, I will never deny an extra little pause or tempo. So again, from here on the side, we take it down nice and slow, keeping the chest high, way through the midfoot, and then I stand, pushing through those feet. Very important, I think, about standing through the legs, keeping the upper body tight so the hips and shoulders rise together. 2 rounds of that, you guys. Quick little recap. We have our sumo squat for 3 at a 3-1-3 tempo, dynamic triangle at a 5 set, just per side, loaded or unloaded. Dumbbell goblet squat for 5 to 10 reps at a 3-second eccentric or negative. 2 rounds of that just to get the legs fired up, and now we're going to move into that dumbbell work. So pause the video, take down that leg work, get it ready to go. We're going to start playing with some dumbbells. So with the dumbbell, pretty common kind of work set that we like to play with as a warm-up for the cleans, because we have power cleans in the workouts. We're going to work on our deadlifts. We're going to split this power clean up into a few pieces. We are going to take ourselves over top with that dumbbell. So I have a single. If you have 2, you'll hold it to the side. You're going to take it through that deadlift range. You're going to stand it up into that sumo or to the conventional and continue working on that deadlift. I take it back and down, touching the floor, or not, depending on how deep I can get. And I'm going to take down 3 reps of that, nice and smooth, working on a good position. My suggestion with this is to treat this the deadlift in the form of a clean. So not keeping the hips super high, but lowering the hips a bit more, keeping the chest up, like we're doing a clean. Okay, so that's what we're basing this deadlift around. After our 3 deads, we're going to work our hang power clean. So again, we can take it to the knee, work on that drive through the legs, keeping the dumbbell close, and then landing in that power position. So we take our hips back, hand to the knee, drive up through those legs and hips, stand tall. The big thing with this clean we want to focus in on is keeping the dumbbell tracking the body and not going way out front into a big curl. So we want to think about the dumbbell staying as close to our torso as we possibly can. After our last hang power clean, what we can do is we can move right into our pause front squat. So the pause front squat in this workout is all about just warming up the squat. We get tight, we get set. I press into the dumbbell a bit, I come down into that good squat that I've been practicing the entire day today, and I hold for 3 and stand tall. I'm going to repeat that 1 time, just to get a little extra love in there for the legs. Focusing on that pause front squat again, we just want to make sure that we're really focusing in on our squat mechanics that we're going to use pretty heavily in this work set in the first 10 minutes and a little bit through that power clean. So we want to make sure that our legs are really fired up and ready for action today. After our front squat, we're going to go for a little run, a little 200, 100 meter, depending on what you want to do, anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute, or cardio piece of choice. And then we're going to hit that for 2 to 3 rounds. So as a quick little recap, we have our dumbbell deadlift for 3, hang power clean for 2, and our dumbbell pause front squat for 1 and a 3-second hold, finishing off with a little cardio piece to get ourselves going and fired up. Pause the video, take that down a little bit, feel your weight for your clean that's coming your way in the work set. We're going to talk about the workout and get you guys going, but until then, pause the video, take it down, come back to us. The first portion of our workout today consists of 10 minutes of a 1,200 meter run or an 800 meter run. Once you're done that run, you're done with the run for that jump. Then you're gonna do max rounds of 5 pullovers, 10 push-ups, and 15 air squats. So the pullover we did yesterday as a little bit of accessory work, and we're gonna revisit that today. So we lay down, feet are in my bridge position, I hold the dumbbell up over my chest, my elbows are pointing out, low back is pressed, and we're nice and active. From here, we're gonna slowly lower down with control till that dumbbell touches the floor, and then I press. I'm gonna slowly lower down with control, keeping those arms relatively straight as I lower that dumbbell down. So with this again too, I can play around with a different position for the dumbbell to create a little bit more range of motion. The motion is the same, except I'm holding the dumbbell by the belts, my elbow is still pointing out, and I'm moving the entire arm as I do this flow. Low back stays pressed against the floor the whole time, and I just take it nice and steady. That is a slow exercise in that triplet. Everything else you can go relatively quickly on. But we want to make sure we're working on that for control and take our time. Our next exercise is the push-up. So we can get set up in 3 different ways, and or if we're working on at home with a table, chair, countertop, whatever you want to use, please do so. But in terms of our floor options, we have 3. We have our nice plank position set up. I lower forward and down, touching my chest, pressing up, maintaining that good tripod. If I can't quite get the push through the toes, but I can lower, I'll lower, maintaining tension, press, and then finish back up in the plank. Lower, maintain tension, press. If I don't have that in terms of lower control, I can set my plank, lower to my knee plank, and work on coming forward and down in that good knee push-up. It's very important though, if we're doing the knee push-up, that we focus on our body coming forward and down, so we build the same patterns as what we're going to use in our toe push-up. All right, so we have to make sure that elbow stays stacked over top of the wrist. After the push-up, we have our air squat. So I'll stand tall and turn to face this direction so you can see my profile side. Normal squat stance, and take my hips to my heels, knees go out slightly, stand tall. So again, same criteria we were playing with in our opening with the front squat, the goblet squat. The only difference, we have no load. So we have a good time with that. After, we have, I should say, another round and a round and a round until we've hit that 10-minute marker. As soon as the clock hits 10 minutes, you're gonna head out the door again or hit that cardio piece of choice, one time through a 1,200 to 800 meter run, and then you're gonna take down max rep dumbbell power cleans. With the dumbbell power clean, we are taking it from the floor or wherever that floor happens to be. So I can take it from between my feet and I can work on cleaning up into that power position. If I have a single dumbbell, I'm just going to alternate my reps as I go, working on keeping a steady flow. If I have 2 dumbbells, I'll hold them to the side. I'm going to take them down as deep as I can. If I can touch the floor, maintaining position, I'll go there. But if I can't, I'll just take it somewhere below the knee, come up into that nice power clean, come back down, and take it from below the knee. Our goal is to get that dumbbell coming up to mid-thigh before we drive vertical into our extension to pull under into our dumbbell clean. So using our legs as much as we can. And trust me, after that first piece, those arms are going to be a little fatigued. So we're going to want to try and use those legs to the best of our abilities to save our arms for the next piece. Because the next piece, our next 10-minute chunk, that's going to flow right into it is another run, 12 to 800 meters, and then max rep burpee. So a couple versions of the burpee. Full burpee, hands come down, I pop my feet back and lower, and pop back up. Trying to land with a good flat foot position and base, or I can take down a step back, burpee, and a step up, burpee. Still trying to land and bring my feet up into a flat, kind of almost squat stance position so I can land with a flat foot. If you can't quite get the burpee with the push, what I'm going to get you to work on today is that squat thrust. So the squat thrust, we have multiple variations. We can come down, pop into our plank, pop back in. We can step it into our plank, pop it back in. I can jump it back into our plank, step it in, or I can step it and step it. I want you to choose the option that's going to allow you to kind of flow for the remaining time so you can get as much movement in that 10-minute frame as you can. So even if you're like, well, I could do burpees, but I can only do really 3 at a time when I'm fatigued, maybe choose to do squat thrusts today so you can keep the flow going all the way to the end. Or if you're like, no, I'd like to work on my burpees, but I just have to take them slower. Take them slower, all right? Move a little steadier, move a little slower. Don't worry about going super fast with your burpees, and just try and stay moving for the rest of the time. When 30 minutes hits or that last 10-minute interval is done, you are officially done and workout over. So you can rest easy knowing the burpees are the finish of the workout. Quick little recap again for you guys with this. 0 to 10 minutes, or your first 10-minute interval, you will run or do your cardio piece of choice, 1,200 meters or 800 meters. Max rounds of 5 dumbbell pullover, 10 push-up, and 15 air squats. Repeat that little triplet until the time is done. Then you'll go right into, no rest in between, you'll go right into that next 10 minutes. You'll run again, 12 or 800. Then you'll do max dumbbell power cleans until the time is finished. When you hear that beeper or you see that clock hit 20 minutes, you'll head back out the door. You'll run 1,200 meters or 8, and then you'll finish off with max burpees. Whatever time you have left over from that run, you will take down max rep burpee. Have fun with this one, you guys. It's a cool little triple workout kind of work set. It's a neat little work set, and I want you to work to your best abilities, work for quality, have fun, and work hard, you guys. Enjoy. We'll see you tomorrow for some more fun.